Calhoun Bend lay quietly beneath the Mississippi sun, bordered by thick pine woods that breathed secrets into the wind. Isaiah Boone knew every trail, every rustle of leaves, every warning call of birds. Hunting was not just survival for him, it was silence, and silence had saved him since childhood. He walked the woods alone, carrying memories heavier than his rifle, memories of a broken home, a violent father, and words never spoken. In the forest, no one asked him to explain his scars. On a Sunday morning he almost skipped. Isaiah wandered past New Hope Chapel. The door stood open, and a voice floated out like warm honey poured over old wounds. It stopped him in his tracks. Inside, Grace Whitfield sang, eyes closed, hands lifted, her voice carrying pain and promise together. Isaiah felt something shift inside him, as if the past loosened its grip for the first time. Grace had returned to Calhoun Bend after years away, chasing a gospel dream that never fully opened its doors. She came back not in defeat, but in obedience, to sing where she was planted. She noticed the quiet man at the back of the church, his eyes fixed on the floor, yet listening like his life depended on it. Their eyes met briefly, and something unspoken passed between them. Zeke Carter watched Isaiah from across town, resentment simmering beneath his friendly smile. They had grown up together, hunted together, fought together. But while Isaiah found peace in solitude, Zeke found only bitterness. And when he saw Isaiah drawn to Grace, something dark awakened inside him. Isaiah met Grace again at the general store. His words came slow and careful, but sincere. Grace listened without rushing him, a kindness he was not used to. They spoke of faith, music, and the woods. For Isaiah, every conversation felt like stepping into sunlight after years underground. Grace began singing in the evenings at revival gatherings. Isaiah attended every one, standing in the back, letting her voice mend places he thought were beyond repair. Grace noticed the change in him, the straighter posture, the softer eyes. She realized her voice was doing what she always prayed it would, healing. One night, Isaiah told Grace about his father, about fists and fear and running into the woods to survive. His voice shook, but he did not stop. Grace did not pity him. She held his hands and prayed, and Isaiah felt something break, something poisonous finally leaving him. Zeke watched their closeness grow and felt invisible. He had wanted Grace's attention, her admiration, her light. Seeing Isaiah, quiet, withdrawn Isaiah, when her heart felt like betrayal. Zeke decided that if he couldn't have peace, neither would Isaiah. Whispers began to spread. Lies about Isaiah's temper, about violence in the woods, about things he never did. Grace heard them and felt confusion settle in. She wanted to trust Isaiah, but the town's voices were loud. Grace grew quieter around Isaiah. He felt it immediately, the familiar coldness returning. He did not ask why. He simply retreated, believing he was never meant to keep good things. Isaiah confronted Zeke in the woods. The truth spilled out, ugly and sharp. Zeke smiled bitterly and dared Isaiah to do something about it. Rage surged through Isaiah like wildfire. Isaiah raised his fist and lowered it. He remembered Grace's prayers, her songs, her belief in peace. He walked away, leaving Zeke shouting behind him. Isaiah stopped going to church. The woods reclaimed him. Grace sang without him there, her voice trembling with unanswered questions. Grace went to Isaiah's cabin. She found journals, not weapons, pages filled with prayers and confessions. The lies unraveled. Grace confronted Zeke publicly after service. The truth fell heavy on the congregation. Zeke's mask cracked, shame finally visible. Zeke came to Isaiah, broken and angry at himself. His apology was messy, imperfect. Isaiah listened, but forgiveness did not come easy. Grace spoke of mercy, not forgetting, but choosing not to destroy. Isaiah wrestled with God through sleepless nights. Isaiah returned to the place he once ran as a child. He prayed aloud, releasing anger like a burden. Forgiveness came quietly. Isaiah returned to church. Grace's smile said everything words could not. Their embrace was gentle, deliberate, healed. Grace wrote a new song inspired by Isaiah's journey. She called it Still Standing. The town listened, and changed. Zeke left Calhoun Bend to rebuild elsewhere. His departure closed a painful chapter. The church grew. Testimonies flowed. Isaiah spoke publicly for the first time. Isaiah and Grace built their relationship slowly, anchored in honesty. No rushing, no hiding. Isaiah proposed beneath the pine trees, voice shaking, heart steady. Grace said yes through tears. Their wedding echoed with song and laughter. Even the woods seemed to rejoice. They restored Isaiah's cabin together. Every nail felt like healing. Grace began traveling to sing, but always returned home. Love became her anchor. Isaiah taught young boys to hunt responsibly, and to talk. Breaking cycles. Zeke wrote letters of growth and repentance. Isaiah read them slowly. Grace was offered a recording deal. They prayed before answering. Grace chose balance over fame. Peace over applause. Their first child was born during a revival week. Hope multiplied. Isaiah told his child stories of the woods, not fear, but strength. The past lost its power. Grace's song reached beyond Mississippi. But her roots stayed firm. Zeke returned years later, changed. Isaiah welcomed him cautiously. Forgiveness became complete. Freedom followed. Isaiah realized love had saved him more than solitude ever could. Grace knew her voice had purpose beyond music. Leaves fell like old pain. Peace remained. Isaiah stood at the edge of the woods, no longer hiding. The forest was no longer an escape, but a home. Love had won, not loudly, but faithfully. And in Calhoun Bend, healing became a song that never ended.